time, everyone, for the check-in presented by Allstate. Throw your hands up.
It's time for the check-in presented by Allstate. Bo Nix played another clean game as the Broncos won. Since October 1st, Bo Nix had 16 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. They have a 5-3 record. Are you starting to believe in Bo Nix and starting to think he could win Rookie of the Year?
I don't know, like the Bo Nix evolution or emergence, I guess is a better word, has been really impressive. I think that it's a lot about Sean Payton, but Bo Nix can't do it without Sean Payton. I think the scheming, particularly in last week's game, was incredible, and he put up ridiculous numbers. But for him to be doing this as a rookie, like it does feel like they found their quarterback in Denver, especially right now with the roster the way that it is, the limitations that they have on the cap with the result of moving on from, I guess it's not from moving on from signing, trading for and signing Russell Wilson. Like, this is a really impressive, incredible season, and this situation is not a great situation for a rookie quarterback to thrive in, and he certainly is.
Yeah, I think the positives here are they've built an offense that makes sense for Bo Nix, right? Like, beginning of the year, it was so conservative, the offense. It was all quick game. It was all getting the ball out fast. They didn't trust him, and the passing game was helpless. It was not an effective offense. They were, first half of the year, 22% of Bo Nix's passes turned into first downs. That was right alongside Deshaun Watson for the worst rate in football. And since the Week 7 game, from that point on, 35%. That's 18th. That's league average. That's a major step in the right direction. I think we see him processing well. We see him getting to open receivers quickly. We see him really doing well on the bootleg game. He's great. Had not every week, but a few weeks where he's had big scrambles. So I think teams are a little hesitant to play man against him, which helps because now that means you're dictating more of the coverage. You're going to face more zone coverage as a result. You'll get better looks and have an idea of what you're going to be seeing post snap, which helps if you can sort of have that in your back pocket. The only thing I would say about Bo Nix is this is not exactly the toughest slate of defenses any quarterback has faced during this hot streak. Panthers 32nd in QBR allowed. Falcons 25th. Raiders today 28th. The Chiefs were 12th. He was okay against the Chiefs, but it wasn't like he was putting up crazy numbers. He was just, I think, doing a good job of protecting the football. And the Ravens were 20th. And the other thing that comes up here is the Ravens game, they got behind. Yeah. And once they got behind, Bo Nix really struggled. They had a really messy bunch of drives in the red zone where he missed open receivers. He ran out of bounds under pressure, didn't get the ball out. And I think that's my concern here is like when the Broncos have been playing bad defenses and they've been in positive game scripts, Bo Nix looks really good because they can use play action. They can boot him. He's not just a drop back passer. When he is in situations where they are trailing, that's my concern. Like, is he going to be an effective drop back passer when he has to throw them back into games? Because he was not against the Ravens. He has not been earlier this year. But doesn't have to be because the defense is so good that they don't fall behind very often.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a common theme when it comes to quarterback development. And I find Bo Nix is an older guy, so it suggests that there's less development to be had, but I'm not sure that I believe that. I kind of feel like the best way to develop a quarterback is the way that they're doing it now, is if you can have success without putting a ton of pressure on him and slowly get to the point where he's a quarterback that can be effective in those drop back situations when all the pressure's on you and you're down by 10 with one quarter to go. Like, it's a really hard thing to do. Most quarterbacks can't do that. And for them, given their current situation, him playing as well as he has in the last few weeks, and I started by saying it feels like more of a credit to Sean Payton and that coaching staff than it does to Bo Nix, because I believe that to be the case, but it does feel like Bo Nix has shown some things that are encouraging and worth building on. So I think this goes back to the original conversation we were having, is what does this say about Bo Nix? And I think we're both hesitant to say that, all right, Bo Nix is the quarterback of the future for the team, or he's going to be like their franchise quarterback. But he is right now. He's shown enough to suggest that he is worth investing in, which is impressive.
And it's interesting. Like, this is a pick that got mocked by a lot of people because he's the oldest rookie starting rookie quarterback since Brandon Weeden. He's the guy who quote unquote ran from the SEC, but it might be something different. He might have actually had to go to a different place to develop because it wasn't going to work at Auburn. And the Sean Payton aspect of this shouldn't be understated. If Bo Nix had been bad after all the comparisons and the things that he said in the offseason, whatever the film actually shows, Russell Wilson was very successful in Pittsburgh. I think he would have been excoriated for not actually being a quarterback whisperer and sort of being a Drew Brees merchant. But this working out is significant for the Broncos and Payton as well.
Yeah, I feel like you're sort of setting expectations appropriately, right? Like the post this Russell Wilson disaster, like we were kind of seeing the Broncos as like an irrelevant team for a year or two. Like they were going to have to fix their cap situation. They were getting, I had some players we were excited about, but it wasn't like we were looking at them like, oh, if they could just get a quarterback, they're going to be a playoff team. And they're right in the mix right now. They're probably favorites to get into the postseason. I haven't looked at the odds, but given how well their defense is playing, given that Nix has been very solid at the very least the past few weeks, even if we still might have skepticism that he's going to be a top 10 quarterback for an extended period of time, like if he can just be a solid game manager, the Broncos can make the playoffs. That defense is that good. I don't know if they can run the ball effectively, and that's the one thing holding them back maybe, but if Nix continues to improve, that's all they need. And that I think is a real credit to Sean Payton because, again, who was there a single person who was not a Broncos fan who predicted the Broncos would be in the postseason hunt come December? And we're going to get to that point, and they're going to be there.
Absolutely not. And I mean, what's pretty impressive about this Broncos success is they have some really glaring holes on their roster, and the defense is playing really well despite the fact that they don't have like a dominant front. It's like all secondary based, which is really hard to do in the modern NFL, and they're doing it on offense without, like, I know Cortland Sutton's really good, but they don't have like a true like X number one guy or a great running attack. It's just not. It's not what you expect. It's if you looked at this roster, or when we looked at this roster before the season started, none of us were like, oh, yeah, they're going to be competitive. Like I thought they'd be at the bottom, not making it to the playoffs, but they certainly seem on track to do that now.
Do you guys think he's going to win Rookie of the Year? If they make the playoffs and Washington doesn't?
Nah.
No, Jayden Daniels is going to win Rookie of the Year. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I think this goes back. No, I mean, I think if they make the playoffs and he continues to improve his stats going forward, then it becomes, if you have the same stats and one team makes the playoffs and one team missed the playoffs, it's possible that you could go with Bo Nix. However, I think anyone who's like watched them both play recognizes pretty clear that one guy is the reason and the other guy is a part of a really impressive turnaround, I guess.
Jayden Daniels is going to win the award, step up to the podium, raise it in his arms, and then immediately cut his ribs because he has a permanent rib injury that's never going to heal.